Hi, it is iYikKam time again. So, I just landed in California a few hours ago and I found tons of messages debating with me on there's no rattan body, there's no long bridge, short bridge, and there's long bridge generate power or Q, fat leg, all kinds of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go through everything with you. Okay, and I advise those who do not want to face the reality, turn off the video right now, because what I'm going to say is not going to be pretty. Okay, I'm not going to give face. I'm going to get to the bottom of the technological stuff of Wing Chun, because my direction is education. Okay, and after I see all this tons of stuff with all the veterans and so forth, it seems like people even willing just to protect themselves or to promote themselves, willing to sacrifice Grandmaster Yip Man. Okay, that's how serious it is. So I think it's time to say enough is enough. Okay, for the past 60 years, yes, not even 60 years, 80 years, most of the Wing Chun Queen, most of it is totally screwed up. And today I want to tell you why it is. Okay, and I go through the detail what it is. So when you read Grandmaster Yip Man's interview in 1972, you know what he's talking about. And if you read the 1700 writing of the short strike, you know what it is. You know, if you read the 1560 General Chi Chi Guang short strikes and so forth, you know whatever it is. Okay, it is enough. It's enough for just pulling the who is more senior, all those kinds of games. And what I'm gonna tell you or share with you got nothing to do with any grandmaster. Doesn't have to do with the iYikKam or Yip Man or whoever, but it has to do with all of them. Why? Because it is like talking physics, law of motion. You can go to any university, they'll talk the same thing when we mention law of motion. Wing Chun has to be like that. It's not, oh yeah, because I'm such and such, this grandmaster taught me and so forth, so I can override everything. I can override even the law of physics. That's ridiculous. Okay, so the number one key, the root cause of why all this screw up totally of Wing Chun is because people do not know that exists the long fist and the short strike art. And there are people who challenge me saying that, you know, why do you talk about this short strike all the time? Let me make you an analogy today. Long fist is like the Western boxing. Short strike art is like the BJJ. Will they be the same in power generations, in the handling and so forth? Will they be the same? No. Everybody have a function brain will see that. Okay. So it's not such thing like, oh, if you are doing Western boxing, you go close quarter, you turn into a BJJ. Is that possible? And today's Wing Chun screw up because everybody thinking, oh, because Wing Chun is a short strike art, a close quarter art. As soon as I get closer, that's a close quarter art. I can do Honga and I get closer, then they become a close quarter art. I can do Western boxing or Choi Lei fight, I get closer, I become a short strike art. It's pretty unscientific type of thinking. I boil it down. if people never see BJJ, and they're keeping thinking, oh yeah, you know, boxing, Western boxing will turn into close quarter BJJ if you go close enough. That's what's the mentality. Okay, so you can see that there's somebody who emailed me saying that this grandmaster saying that there's no such thing as a long fist and short strike. You just only go for the length of your arm and so forth. Even in the Western boxing and BJJ, they are different. How can one say that there's no such thing as long fist and short strike? Why is the General Chi Guang of 1560? Read who he is in the real deal battlefield. Has to do that. Has to use those type of categorizations. And I ask, in the past 100 years, who fought more than General Chi Guang? If it is not, then forget about it. Don't keep creating a whole bunch of stuff one don't understand. And it's deadly. Why is deadly? For those kind of distortion. Today, in the world, we know there's Western boxing, we know there's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay? It's not just one try to get closer and closer, then become the other one. So if we do not sort this out and we keeping speculate and derive this thing, it is actually going to be who knows what. And for example, people say this Chong Q Fat Leg, long bridge generate power in Wing Chun. Are you serious? That is exactly the same thing, meaning like if you are practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you got to punch, your power generation is like the Western boxing. It doesn't make a sense at all. It only makes sense for people who never understand what the heck is going on between Western boxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's a different art. Same with Wing Chun, with other arts. Same with this long fist and short strike. Saying that, what the body type trained in the Western boxing the same with the body type trained in the Jiu-Jitsu? Who do rolling every day in the ground? So, if we keeping saying there's no rattan body, what is that then? Wing Chun have structure? You must be kidding. Same thing. There's analogy to thinking the way one train Western boxing. If we train more enough, then one can turn into a BJJ type of body condition. It's just this simple. It's no magic, no myth at all. Okay? Now, for past hundreds of years, most people, and past 60 years, a lot of people, a lot of Wing Chuners is doing this Q style type of stuff. Forward pressure, all those kind of stuff. Well, short strike art is about receiving. And how is it supposed to doing this kind of blocking function or pushing or forward pressure or sustain or with withstand type of style receiving? How is that supposed to be like that? How can it be? Okay? So if we are keeping training this way every day, how is that become a receiving and enter the body, my son? If one keeping doing this, for sure there's no way to my son because one's pushing the other party out. And we know short strike characteristic is to show to keep this distance. Okay? But short strike is we need to enter, close in, get close in. Thus, one just cannot simply use this type of structure, forward pressure and pushing to become a receive and close in on my son. If you read Grandmaster Yip Man's 1972 interview, it said clearly the Lai Lao Hui Song, the receive. Why people cannot accept that? If you don't like that, go to 1700. The Grandmaster Zhao's writing, the Grandmaster Zhang's writing, same thing. Receiving. Receiving is the characteristics of the short strike. So today, ask ourselves, the so-called Wing Chuner, do you receive or you keeping pushing the other party off? And you keeping thinking about, I want to my son, I want to narrow stand. Wing Chun is good at close body, inch power, narrow stance. How is that get there? How is it this kind of keeping try to push kind of thing, dealing with this Q style, like the southern Chinese martial art, be close in, narrow stance, short strike kind of art, and receiving, because there's in Lai Lao Hui Song. How is it? How is it possible? Why do we even need to argue? Should we argue that you train Western boxing more enough that then you will turn into an expert in the BJJ? We need to get real instead of just still living within a fantasy where one don't even know what is reality and keep arguing and debating for nonsense. So the Chinese martial art is like that. Long fist, short strike. Like it or not, is there. Long fist have this pressure and all those kind of stuff, but playing the bridge, all those kind of stuff. Short strike, no. Receiving and go inside. Wing Chun hand. Tan Bong Fuk K. All is a receiving hand. It's not forward pressure. It is not withstand. It is not bracing. Because the minute one do that, one cannot close in, one cannot my son. Okay, this is not what I'm saying. Go read Grandmaster Yip Man's article. Go check into the Yin Kui San history in the YouTube where people describe what happened in the past. That's what it is. So why are we today, just because our own fame or our own self-righteousness, we even willing to sacrifice Grandmaster Yip Man's teaching or anybody's teaching just for our own fame, our own title or whatever? That is ridiculous, and they're just proving that we don't know anything. Okay, so the thing is this: the long fist and the short strike. Due to that, the strategy will be completely different. The strategy will be completely different, and thus the entering will be different. The long fist entering, the strategy, the short strike entering and strategy will be different. The power generations or the engine will be different. The short strike one will be different. It is really scientific and really can be engineering. So what to argue? Okay, what to debate? And then somebody say, oh yeah, Wing Chun, according to Grandmaster Yip Man said, it is the saying of other people, walk the bow, I walk the string. So it's straight line. When people say that to me, I say, oh my God. Straight line doesn't mean that this is a line of attack, line of fire, and you go straight inside there. Is that true that the short strike is straight? Yes, this is straight. But straight is not the straight. Straight is this angle in straight. Okay? And also, even though Wing Chun say walk the string not walk the ball. Wing Chun's body is spinning. Even it's going straight like that, it's spin. As you can see in Cham Kyu sets. So we better be careful. We better exactly know what is being described, instead of say, oh yeah, you know, Wing Chun is walking the string, not walking the ball. So you go into the line of fire. Anybody do that will drop dead facing a Western boxer. Walking the line of fire. So, without this angling, how is Wing Chunner supposed to walk in? Get close. Walk the straight line. Walk the string. You can. Without the spinning, while go straight in, one, the Wing Chunner will not have mechanical advantages. Not to mention, that is how one can see the design within the Cham Kyu set. So how can one call oneself even a Wing Chun practitioner if one don't even understand what Cham Kyu is talking about, and don't understand what this long fist, short strike, the angle difference between the long fist attack and the short strike attack, the power generation different because it has to support different type of arts. So, in the past 60 years, everybody is thinking long fist. Never know or never mention, or which I should say, very rare mention about this short strike stuff. Very rare. So one keeping thinking, oh, long fist and everything. When something come out, when we bring the short strike thing out, and when Grandmaster Yiman wrote about the short, describe about the short strike in his interview, everybody said, no, that's not the real thing. The article is fake. Somebody put it down there, so forth, so forth. What is the point? It just proves that one is naive. One doesn't even understand what's going on. So one can keep arguing, wasting time. So the root cause is simple. Unless one know what is a long fist and short strike, one know the art. What is the point to argue? One simply doesn't know. And with this, a different strategy with the long fist and the short strike, the footwork will be different because it need to carry the body into to close in for the short strike. Is that just going line of fire and then punching this way? No, it has to go into the angle. So that's why, if you heard about the Chinese called Xin Wai, the line and the position, there is the line and position there. But the line position there is not standing there, or the line, the closest between 2 points is the straight line, and I get to this position, I take the center line. It's not that. Because that is the derivations from the long fist thinking or long fist mindset. And Wing Chun is a short strike. And then are we going to get clever on this Tai Chi? What Tai Chi? All Tai Chi have Dan Bian. Look at the Chen Tai Chi, Yang Tai Chi, all type of Tai Chi where they do Dan Bian. Is that long fist or short strike? It's a long fist. Even in the ancient writing, it is a long fist. Why is that got to do with the Wing Chun? So this thing get really ridiculous these days. One is not helping Wing Chun, not helping other Wing Chunner. When keeping arguing and using this long fist type of a mindset to the debate versus the short strike, which is exists, but one don't know. Okay. So seriously, technically, one need to know what is a short strike and long fist before one can get into this or detailed discussions. Otherwise, what can one say anything? It's just like one totally don't know about BJJ. Can one discuss BJJ in the standpoint of like a Western boxing? Or if people don't know Wing Chun short strike, can one just discussing Wing Chun with the mindset of Twilight fight? Can you do that? So we need to get our mind clear up, be able to think properly, instead of just because, oh yeah, it's my title, I want to defend that, so I will say anything, doing any kind of debate. So today this is for you. Again, this is about education. If you love Wing Chun, this part need to be restored or revival. If this is not restore and revival and keeping thinking this long fist kind of thing and debate and say, oh no, Grandmaster Yip-Man, that article is fake, whole bunch of stuff, without even understanding what is talking in the article. Just because one's title, one's ego. That's actually a kiss of death. And about this rattan body, Grandmaster Yip-Man call it the rattan, using the rattan to analog or to describe things. I call it 7-ball dynamic. Why? There's a reason for that. Because people sometimes told me, say, oh no, Grandmaster Yip-Man or other Grandmaster only talk about 6 harmony and so forth. Why 7? What the 7 ball, the feet ball? I put it down there because everybody had to stand on ground. Stand. If that feet is not handling properly, one cannot do a squat. Even if we don't talk about in the fighting art or martial art, just talking about playing golf. If that 7 ball, the action reaction force not handling properly, one will not have a good control on the a golf ball playing. Okay. And for the force flow, playing with action reaction force, that's called coupling. The same if you look at the pro in playing golf ball, you see how they coupling their body and how they use action reaction force and so forth, even though they are not a fighting arts. Can they do a structure to play golf? So again, one need to know the short strike, one need to know the dynamic handling of 7 balls, because that is required to support the close body or close in the short strike. It is just like to spear something is different than to play golf ball, to do the swing. They have different mechanics. So what is the point of argue? Hendrik, you call it 7 ball dynamic, or somebody didn't call it before. Sure, somebody didn't call it before, because I'm Western educated and I'm educated with the engineering and physics and biomechanics, and that is what it is there. Am I against my ancestor who call it rattan body, willow body, snake engine and so forth? No, I don't. I just use the Western words to say it so that everybody be able to clearly know what it is. It's about engineering training. Okay. So is rattan body exist? Sure. Without that, what can you do? You cannot do a thing. But again, if one do not understand what is the short strike, how to enter, how the angle handling, how the power generation, how the footwork, one will never appreciate what's going on. One can keep argue for the next 10,000 years. Still one don't know. In fact, the more one argue this way, the more the future historian will shake their heads, say, oh my God. Okay? So I want to leave this to you. If you guys want to keep thinking, using the mindset of Western boxing, as soon as you box long enough and close enough, you can turn into a BJJ. You don't have to train the BJJ way, and you can turn into an expert in the BJJ. Well, make my day. Okay, it's not my problem. For me, I go learn BJJ if I like the art. I'm not going to stand there and learning Western boxing and pretend someday I become a BJJ expert. It never happened. It will never happen. Okay. Same with the Wing Chun. If you don't train Wing Chun, you go turn Tai Chi, and you're thinking you become advanced in Wing Chun, forget about it, because one don't even know. It is a short strike. The Tai Chi is a long fist. Okay? So this is for you today. Hopefully this clear out a lot of things. So my message to everybody is, one need to know what is the difference between the long fist and short strike. Have experience with it. Don't start to thinking and argue or debate before one know what is going on. And in fact, again, my last statement is the past 60 years and so all this Wing Chun screw up in the evolution is due to that. Thinking if one practice Western boxing long enough and close enough, one can turn into a BJJ expert. That's the analogy. If you do not understand what is the difference between long fist and short strike, that is the good way to see what's going on. Okay? Training, thinking, believing, training Western boxing long enough and close enough can turn into the BJJ expert some days. By voila, it become like that. And thus, same thing. Because one do not understand this short strike and long fist, the 3 sets of Wing Chun totally, completely screw up. Because when one try to practice the 3 sets, which is close, the short strike sets with a long fist way, you know what is the consequence. Okay? So this is for you today.